Today we have a very special guest. He's a chartered accountant, he's a company secretary, and a lawyer. Please welcome Chartered Accountant Ajay Vasvani.
See, primarily Government of India or the taxation authorities here want you to file your income tax return only when it is mandatory for you. But my advice to them is always you should be filing your income tax return in India, even if it is not mandatory for you, and there is various advantages that you should be doing.
Hello and welcome back, friends. Today we have a very special guest who has got triple qualification, triple deadly combination of qualifications. He's a chartered accountant, he's a company secretary, and a lawyer. And he is a founder and managing director of a Dubai-based company called as Zenify Consulting Services. He's expert in NRI taxation, is expert in FEMA and investments. Please welcome Chartered Accountant Ajay Vasvani. Welcome, Ajay.
Thank you so much. Very happy and glad to be at your podcast. Yeah, I've been hearing your podcast for a while now, and that's a very impressive thing that you are doing.
Pleasure, pleasure. So, Ajay, when and how did you start into NRI taxation?
Yeah, so this is a good question. The first question itself happens to be a question that has been asked to me many a times. So it
Right.
was in 2012. I qualified as a chartered accountant and then company secretary, and of course I did LLB and my commerce graduation. So see, as a chartered accountant, we have two options available. Either we get into an industry or we get into our own consulting wing, and this can happen in two ways. So either we join an existing firm or we establish our own entity. I was very sure that I didn't want to get into the employment part. I wanted to have a niche created for myself, and
Okay.
I wanted always to be getting into the consulting.
Okay.
And considering that chartered accountant profession has grown leaps and bounds, there are too many options available. There are 10 different various activities that we can do. Of course, there is earlier it was VAT service tax, now it is GST. There's accounting, auditing, merger acquisition, IPO, banking, finance. So it is very difficult to be, doing everything. So the
Right.
idea was to be master of one and jack of one. So instead doing the other way.
Well,
So I ventured into NRI taxation, and this was yes, not a very cautious decision I took. So in CA there is an articleship, and an entire 3-year articleship. I never did an NRI tax thing. So this is something which I didn't learn. So it was only in 12 after I qualified, I was looking for opportunity. I happened to visit Abu Dhabi, and it was just to meet a few people. While interacting with them, I could understand there is a lot of misconceptions around the taxation in India, and especially UAE. There is no personal income tax,
correct.
and for people who are there, always are thinking that we don't have any taxation or any compliance to be done. So while interacting with them, I could sense that yes, there is a big gap. There is a lacuna. People, of course, in UAE don't get the PR. So the day you retire, it is certain you are coming back to India. You don't pay any taxes over there because the country doesn't levy any personal taxes. So you are too away from the purview of the taxation. That is, I thought, yes, there is a good scope. I came back to India, did more study in this particular subject of NRI taxation, and it
Hmm.
was rather more than my CA finals, the taxation subject I studied. And then
Okay.
I gradually started working on this subject.
Right, right. Very. So that's what, in fact, you already covered a little bit of what I wanted to discuss in my next question. In UAE, there is no income tax. There is no personal income tax. Then, should really people based in the folks based in UAE worry about the taxation?
See, primarily Government of India or the taxation authorities here want you to file your income tax return only when it is mandatory for you. But I have been closely working with the non-resident community at large. I have been interacting with them. My advice to them is always you should be filing your income tax return in India, even if it is not mandatory for you, and there is various advantages that you should be doing. So as I said, you don't get a PR, there is no personal taxes. So in case you are not filing income tax return in UAE by virtue of the law, and if you are not filing income tax return in India also, so eventually it is that you are not filing income tax return anywhere in the world. So
Right.
compare yourself now with NRIs in the other part of the world, maybe in US, UK, Australia, or Singapore, where there is a taxation system. So NRIs based out of there are actually compliant in one part of the world at least.
Right.
For you, there is no other option. What you can do is you can file your income tax return in India for whatever income you have. And it is always a good practice that you include your exempt income in UAE in your Indian income tax returns. So income tax return in India is the only document wherein you can substantiate your residential status and the sources of income you have. Plus,
Okay.
there are a lot of advantages around TDS for NRIs deducted always at a higher rate. So it is up to 30% TDS is deducted. So the moment you file your ITR, you get your refund. And my
Okay.
experience is 1,000+ returns I have been filing for years now. So I have seen people getting income tax refunds. For people who don't have even basic income thing, they get refund in lakh rupees. So people are absolutely not aware that they can claim the refund also.
Okay.
Tomorrow, if you have to come back to India the day you retire, and if you are like moving back to the country, it is,
Hmm.
it is a good practice to have your foreign statements, foreign details, your income tax credentials, documents available, so that you have a smooth landing back in India. Tomorrow, if you have to apply for any loan in India, the first banker that will be asking you would be income tax return for 3 years. So, of course, being a resident, it is mandatory for you, and you can file your income tax return only for 1 year at a time. Then, how do
Right.
you get the income tax return copies for the other 2 years? So, I have seen people waiting to be eligible to even apply for a loan. So, there are many benefits available if you continue filing your income tax return in India.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. So, Ajay, what are your USP services?
So, see, I have exclusively been into the NRI taxation. That's my forte. I have never been into the traditional part. If you come to me and ask Ajay, what is GST? I would seriously say you sorry on that part, because I have never ever even bothered to study on those subjects. I have concentrated myself only on the NRI taxation part. But yes, along with the taxation, I have a good edge on the investments, banking, finance, real estate investments. So that is the add-on I do along with the NRI taxation. And in NRI taxation, of course, my major part of time goes into handling the real estate transactions for NRI. So selling a
Oh,
property in India and for like an NRI is a very
okay.
tedious process. And my experience is I handle one property per day at least for a non-resident.
Oh, that's good.
That is a super edge I have.
That's great. That's great. To know. So, are you providing services only for NRIs based in UAE?
So, of course, it started with UAE, considering that proximity to India was very close by,
Right.
and
Right.
considering the population, Indian population over there was good. So, strategically, it was good for me to start. But now it has been spread to almost 20 plus countries. I travel to various countries. It's been like almost 20 plus countries we have a client. Post COVID, things have been very easy. Going around in the world is so
Right.
convenient now. It's like just getting on a Google or a Zoom call.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
20 countries. That's a big number. That's quite
So
a.
yeah, digitally it worked really very well. Pre-COVID, I could not have thought for, because at those days, getting on a video call was not a very in thing that time.
Correct. Correct. Got it. Got it. So, what services are you providing in investments? I mean, you touched upon property, but what are the avenues that you generally suggest to
So see, I
investors?
have been doing taxation thing for NRI for so many years now, and I exactly know what is the thought process behind an individual who is outside India. So considering I have been studying those investments for the people, I have an understanding what are the do's and don'ts around the investments, what you should be doing as a non-resident, and what is your thought process. So
Right.
I work as a consultant for the investments. So I am not someone who would be coming to you and selling an investment product. This is a need based and advisory based investment management I do. So
Got it.
tomorrow, if you're like Ajay, I have 5 lakh rupees available, I want to invest. So I can tell you 5, 6 different avenues and the ins and outs, what are the benefits around, and what you should be thinking, and which investment suits you the best. And this is a 100% investment advisory based model I do.
Right. 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 So, what are your major achievements so far? Like you are in this domain for more than a decade now. So, what are your really major achievements so far?
So major achievement, of course, yes, getting to the 20 plus countries, sitting in India, and
Right.
of course, I do aggressively travel. I travel every month, and 15 days I'm outside. So 3, 4 countries I aggressively travel.
Okay.
Majorly are in the Gulf countries, and I go to Singapore, Hong Kong. Various institution organizations have been inviting me to take sessions on around the subject. So
Okay.
major achievement would be that I have addressed more than 500 plus seminar or webinars on this
Oh,
subject, and
that's a huge number.
covered 10,000 plus NRIs. So that
Oh,
is one passionate thing I do. Even if you tell me, Ajay, 2 a.m. in the night, you have to get up and do a webinar or a seminar, I am ready for that. So that gives me a lot of energy around. So speaking
Right,
to
right.
NRI, yes, that is the source of energy.
That's great. That's great to know. So, I mean, what are your future plans, Ajay?
So future plan is, yes, I'm keen on traveling to more countries now. So Western countries I haven't traveled yet. So in near future I'm planning for doing sessions in US, Canada, and European countries. So that
Okay.
plan is already on. So looking
Okay.
forward to physical travel and session over there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, UAE itself, there are 200 nationalities to cover, but you already covered 20. I'm sure you will be counting more on those.
UAE has been a gateway to the world. Any country you wish to work upon, you get a network in UAE for that. That
That's
has been a great support system for me being in and working in UAE for that matter.
That's great. That's great. I mean, it's great to see a chartered accountant, a company secretary, lawyer from India, and then establishing his business in UAE, and from UAE spreading across more than 20 countries, covering so many clients across the world. It's really outstanding to learn how a chartered accountant can have a different career also, apart from just the audits or something else.
Thank you so much for that. I keep on telling a lot of young chartered accountants, break the barriers. Don't be restricted in the four walls around. So world is a very small place now, and
That's true.
think global, and maybe you can earn in global currencies also for that matter. Then don't
That's
restrict yourself to INR earning.
right, right, right. I mean, thank you, Ajay. It was really, great to learn a lot of things from you. Get to learn a little more into taxation and getting those insights. Really been helpful. I'm sure the audience will also enjoy listening to the knowledge that you are providing. And thank you so much for joining the podcast today at Dubai Katta. Look forward to more interaction with you in future.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed interacting with you. This session was a good experience for me as well, and looking forward for more podcast on the Dubai Katta. Keep
Right,
doing
right.
good stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ajay. Thank you.